one's not present, or present in low amounts relative to this one, then it will bind to that one. So what do you call that when there is these two things are interacting for this site? What would you call that? Something USC is very, very bad at this year. Competition, yeah. So when there are multiple substrates that can bind, so multiple ligands, there will be competition among the ligands, and the one with the highest affinity will be the preferred substrate. Does that kind of make sense? Do you think if I wanted to change the affinity of the protein to the ligand, how could I do that? Change its shape, right? And what would I change the shape of, the ligand or the protein? The protein. This is what's going to regulate it, right? Whether or not it interacts in this shape. So we can alter this. So that's what those modulators do. They may come in, it might be another molecule that comes in and sits down right here. And when it sits down right here, what does that happen? That changes the shape. So we can regulate the affinity and change the affinity by altering, by modulating, if you will, this kind of protein. Now, we are going to talk about these three characteristics honestly, because proteins do so much for the body. These will come into play almost every lecture we talk about. Proteins with their ligand have specificity, they have affinity, and they show competition. And lastly, one of the things that's going to be important about these interactions is that they also can show saturation. Meaning that if I have a certain finite amount of the protein, there's only so much ligand it can interact with, right? And then the point at which all of the proteins are bound to ligands is called saturation. And the only way then I could get more of this interaction occurring is by adding more protein. The way I could get less of this reaction occurring is by adding less protein. Right? So that's that kind of upregulation and downregulation there by producing more or less. So that saturation is important. Yeah, so that's a characteristic of these interactions also. So these four characteristics are all characteristics or features, if you will, of protein-ligand interactions about all of those things. Right? So you can see that. Now,